What's going on, everybody? Skylar Santana, New York representative for Hardscape.com, New York Porcelain Pavers. And I'm actually here with the vice president of our distribution company. And we're out in Franklin Square in Long Island, where we're part of the fair and we're educating people. And we're actually offering a nice deal today on a package for our porcelain with 4 different colors that we have on display here. We have Pietra Blue, Roma Travertine, Da Vinci, and French Limestone. In 2 different sizes, 16 by 32 in a 2cm, and 24 by 24 also in a 2cm. So Dean, let the people know why it's important for them to use porcelain on their projects rather than using a concrete paver or a natural stone.
Well, so our porcelain, especially in comparison to a natural stone, but even a concrete paver, is going to last longer. It's going to have all of the added benefits that we discussed in all of our content that you put out. Skylar does a great job. Stain resistance, heat resistance, chemical resistance, slip resistance. Our porcelain is just head and shoulders above the rest of the competition.
Gotcha. And one of the most common questions that we actually get from contractors, which we have a contractor here, we're working with Island Mason on this project specifically, but is the install any different from doing the install on other pavers? Is it any tricks, any turns, anything that's going to jumble somebody up?
So that's a great question. So we get install questions all the time. How can I install a porcelain paver? What makes it different than a concrete paver or a natural stone? And my answer is this: anything that you do to install a concrete paver, if you use that same method, you'll have success with our porcelain paver, and same with a natural stone. So you can either set this on sand, put your polymeric sand in the joints, and you're done, just like you would a concrete paver, or you could thin set this down on a concrete slab, just like you would with a natural stone. So either way, you're gonna have a successful install, as long as you do the same thing that you would do with the other pavers.
That makes sense. And guys, there's a lot of benefits. We have 8 of them, but the most important benefits that people have gravitated towards was the low maintenance, slip resistance, and not overheating. That's some of the top 3 things that people, when I'm talking to homeowners especially, that they're concerned about. And that's really what you want to do with these pavers, because that's going to give you the added benefits over using the concrete pavers or the natural stone. What else do you want to add, Dean, as far as the product goes?
So I think people need to understand that there's a big difference between our porcelain and other brands of porcelain.
Right.
One of the main differences is that our factory is in Italy. We have 5 factories located in Italy, different parts, are the only factories on the planet who only make exterior porcelain pavers.
Right.
So all other porcelain manufacturers do both interior and exterior porcelain. What that means is that these manufacturers aren't able to spend the proper amount of time cooking their porcelain because they only have a small period of time to make the outdoor porcelain.
Right.
What happens when you don't cook your pavers all the way through? Well, you're gonna have a white line on the side, which I know Skylar has touched on in previous videos. But the other problem is not just the white line appearance, but what does that mean for the paver? Well, that means your paver's weaker. That means your paver doesn't have that strength that you need.
Right.
And it's gonna be a little bit more porous, which means that it's gonna stain, it's gonna scratch. It's not gonna have that same finish that we make sure every one of our porcelain pavers has.
Exactly, guys. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other porcelain on the market that's not going to hold up to the way it's supposed to perform for porcelain pavers for the reasons that he mentioned. You don't want to really get a porcelain that's going to have the characteristics that you're actually purchasing for. So do your homework, guys. If you have any other questions, my phone number is 917-227-7765, and I'm happy to go over any details that you may need for your project in the future. And we thank you guys for tuning in.
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
see you in the next one.
Very nice. That was it. That was the one
That
right
was
there.
the one, right? Yeah.